Listen, man, no one's gonna tell you this, but I will. She lost you. And it's not just some casual phrase. It's a reality that sits heavy in your chest like a stone, one that no amount of pride or excuses can shake. You feel it every time you remember what you gave, what you risked, and how it all slipped through your fingers, as if you were standing there, helpless, watching the only person who mattered walk away without a backward glance. You've been burned, you've been used, maybe even betrayed. But here's the brutal truth nobody's gonna say. She doesn't deserve your tears. She doesn't deserve your time. And most of all, she doesn't deserve your energy. Now, I know how that sounds. Cold, maybe even cruel. But this is the clarity you need. The hard truth that starts your healing. She lost you. And now, it's time to let her drown in her regret. Number 1, the emotional fallout. Understanding what's really happening. When she walked away, your world didn't just lose a person, it lost a part of your identity, your hopes, your future plans, your sense of security. The emotional fallout can feel like an earthquake shaking every foundation you built. You might feel shattered, confused, and maybe even desperate to get her back because your mind is wired to fix what's broken. That's human, but here's the key insight. You are not broken. Your emotional pain isn't a sign of weakness or failure, it's a sign of growth. Because once you see clearly, you start understanding what was really lost, not her. You'd lost the illusion of what she represented. That idealized version in your head, the loyal partner, the woman who matched your energy, the person who would stand by your side through anything, that was never really her. It was your hope dressed up in her face. And that illusion, it's what's hurting you most. So the first step to reclaiming your power is to stop chasing a ghost. Stop feeding your mind the fantasy of what could have been. Instead, stare straight into the truth. She chose to walk away. You need to understand female psychology here, because it's not about you being less or not good enough. It's about her priorities, her capacity to commit, and whether you aligned with her values and needs. Women, like men, have a complex inner world driven by emotion, biology, and personal growth. But modern dating has twisted those dynamics into confusion and misunderstanding. The truth? Many women leave because they don't see the man in front of them as the one, not because you lack value, but because you didn't show up in the way that speaks to her deepest needs. And that's on you, not because you failed her, but because you failed yourself first. Number 2. The brutal truth about regret. Why she will feel it, but it's not your job to fix. Regret is a dangerous emotion, especially in the context of relationships. It can be a weapon, a poison, or a mirror. The truth is, she will feel regret. Maybe it's the regret of losing someone steady in a sea of chaos. Maybe it's the regret of walking away from a man who had real potential to grow, to lead, and to love with strength and vulnerability. But here's the hard part. Her regret isn't for you, it's for her, her choices, her fears, and the loss of what she could have had. And you don't get to live your life waiting for her to realize that. Your emotional detachment is the greatest gift you can give yourself here. That doesn't mean you suppress your pain or become cold. It means you separate your self-worth from her validation. When you stop needing her to regret losing you, you start living for yourself. You take back your power from the illusion that her feelings define your value. This is the core of masculine self-control, not some robotic suppression of feelings, but a conscious, deliberate mastery over your emotional landscape. Because once you master that, you become unbreakable. Number 3, rebuilding your inner fortress, the path to emotional sovereignty. If you're watching this, chances are you feel broken, raw, and maybe a little lost. Good. That means you still care. That means you're human. But to truly heal, to rise from the ashes of what you lost, you need to become something greater, something she lost forever. That starts with rebuilding your inner fortress. Your mind is the first battlefield. You've been conditioned to believe your worth depends on others, on women, on society's approval, on validation from external sources. That's a lie. Your worth is inherent, untouchable by any woman's choice or rejection. To reclaim it, you need discipline, mental, emotional, physical. Start by controlling what you can, your thoughts, your habits, your reactions. Practice emotional detachment, not as avoidance, but as clarity. Feel the pain, observe it, then let it pass without clinging. Create boundaries with yourself and others. You will feel the urge to reach out, to beg, to explain. Resist it. Every time you give in, you give away your power. Instead, fill your time with growth, physical training, learning, building skills, expanding your purpose. This is masculine self-control, not suppression, but channeling your energy into creation rather than destruction. Number 4, why she left and what that says about you. Understanding why she left is part of your growth. It wasn't just about what you did or didn't do, it was about what you represented. Women are drawn to men who are anchored, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When you lose that center, when you become reactive, needy, uncertain, she feels it. Not consciously, but deeply, instinctively. She didn't leave because you weren't enough. She left because you stopped leading. Not through control, but through presence, through purpose. And now, she might regret it, because once she realizes she walked away from a man who was becoming rare, that regret will eat at her. But this isn't about blame. It's about owning your role, so you can become the kind of man who doesn't chase, because he knows who he is. And next time, she won't leave, because she'll know she's standing in the presence of something unshakable. Number 5. The silent revenge, becoming unreachable and unforgettable. There is a quiet power in walking away without looking back. You don't need to shout your worth from the rooftops. You don't need to chase her with messages, social media posts, or pity. The most devastating revenge is your silence, your growth, your success, your unshakable peace. When she sees you thriving, indifferent, alive without her, that's when the regret becomes a fire. And you don't even have to say a word. That's emotional detachment in its purest form. The truth? She lost you not because you weren't good enough, but because she couldn't handle the real man you are becoming. Number 6. The future, how to move forward, without looking back. Moving on isn't about forgetting her. It's about integrating the pain, learning the lesson, and becoming a better man for yourself. You will meet other women. Some will come close, others will teach you harsh lessons. But the foundation you build now, in solitude, with self-respect and clarity, will determine what kind of man you become. The man who never settles, the man who commands respect, the man who understands that losing a woman is not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter. So here's what I want you to take away. She lost you, and that loss is her burden to carry, not yours. Your job now is to let her drown in her regret while you rise, unshaken, unbreakable, because the only approval you need is your own. Keep moving forward, keep mastering yourself, and when you're ready, the right woman, the one worthy of your time, will see the man you've become and choose to stay. Until then, keep your head high. Watch the next video. It's time to deepen that transformation.